Let's see here. Let's get into some silliness, shall we?
All right.
Let me see here. I did have some stuff picked out for the show today.
Let me just chew up these fucking cough drops, and I'm ready to go.
You got cough drops?
Oh, dude, I am taking every last little bit of anything I can to not be coughing on the mic. I've got the ick, whatever the ick is that everybody has right now.
Sure.
I have it. I don't feel sick, like not at all sick, but can't stop fucking coughing, and my throat is just roached. Doesn't sound too bad right now, I don't think.
No, you sound fine.
But that's because I literally didn't speak for about 48 hours to make sure that I was good for tonight.
Sure.
You heard me yesterday. You cough?
I did not talk to you yesterday. We just texted. You said you were laying silent, trying not to use your voice.
Was it the day before? One of the days that you
talked to me. I called you on Thursday.
Right.
And then I asked you, are you sick?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I was getting there, but good now. So, and at least the voice sounds good. Probably tomorrow I'll be like, no Jack Frost impressions tonight, please.
Sure. Before we get into the story, I'm just curious because I didn't hear, and I know that you watch a little football today. Who won the games today?
I don't know. The Seattle game is still on. It came on at like 8. The first game, the Texans won.
So the Raiders lost?
Raiders are done.
Oh, how about that?
That fucking third-string quarterback couldn't complete a pass if there was no defenders on the field.
Okay.
He sucked. Oh, my God. I don't know what he ended up with because I fell asleep. That game sucked a bag of dicks. You did yourself a favor not watching that. But I think at the first half he was like 4 for 18 for like
4 for 18
for like 13 yards or something. He was awful. It was one of the for two playoff teams. It was one of the worst games I can ever remember watching. Both teams just fucking shit the punters. They had Shane Leckler and that other guy King. That's the Pro Bowl punter.
Okay,
those guys were on the field as many plays as the quarterbacks. It was fucking horrible. There had to be. I watched the first half and a little bit of third quarter, and there had to be 15 punts. It was fucking garbage football today.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened with the Seattle game, but I can look. Shameless plug for them. There's 4 minutes left in the game, and Seattle's winning 19-6.
Yeah, I think Seattle will probably win.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't very good either. Sure. They made it to playoffs, but they're not very good.
Right.
All right.
Well, getting into now, I saw that the liar in chief who's exiting the office finally after 8 miserable years.
Yeah.
His take on his time in the office is that race relations in this country are better than when he took over, and I'm going to say that that's false.
What?
That's my opinion. I don't know that is fact, but I'm going to say that's false.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you fully. I think that race relations are at their best point ever.
Okay.
He literally said that, huh?
He did say that.
Okay. And what is he basing that on?
I don't know the answer. I'm just going by the comment that he made.
Do you think he lives in a bubble, or do you think he's just trying to protect his legacy?
Well, obviously, a legacy is a big deal, for these exiting presidents,
Right.
But I don't see it. I don't see it. The Chicago in general had one of the worst years in history for murders.
Come on, dude! A mere 762 murders.
Yeah, that's all.
Just 7. How many is that per month? What does that divide out into?
Well, that comes out to 2 a day.
2 a day.
2 a day.
That seems. What's wrong with that? You act like 2 wives a day don't act up.
Yeah, of course.
Come on.
Then, of course, we got the Black Lives Matter movement that started under Obama's watch. So
was Ferguson last year?
That was 2 years ago.
What was last year's big riot?
Baltimore.
Baltimore? Yeah. So 2 years ago, but 2 years ago, that counts for his legacy.
Yeah. Anything that happened in the last 8 years.
Trayvon?
Yeah, that happened during his watch, too.
What other ones? Tamir Rice?
Well, that happened as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. All the biggies. All the biggies happened in his watch.
Sure.
When was the last time we had big race riots in America? 92?
It was back in the 90s during the Clinton administration.
For OJ, right?
Correct.
Or Rodney King?
Both.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have riots on OJ, did we?
You did.
No, we didn't, because OJ was found not guilty.
Not guilty. So it was during the Rodney King thing.
Rodney King. What was that over?
Well, because he got beaten by the police. Remember, it was one of the first times that somebody filmed the police supposedly abusing somebody.
Right. Well, I don't know about supposedly. That looked pretty abusive to me. I don't care what.
Maybe the guy deserved it.
He may have deserved it, but come on, dude. They beat the living tar out of the dude when he was on the ground.
Then he drowned in a swimming pool.
Well, that's the one that I've always been like, you know what? I can see the point. You know, those guys, it's fine with me if you beat somebody onto the ground. If you beat them near unconscious, you know, to protect yourself. But once they're on the ground not moving, you got to fucking stop.
I don't think the verdict's in yet.
You don't think so? We're still waiting?
We're still waiting.
Still waiting to find out.
We need to analyze that tape a little closer.
New technology.
Exactly.
Where was the HD lens when we needed it?
Sure.
Yeah, he probably lifted one finger up. That's probably what the claim was, too. See that finger?
Yeah.
Making an attempt to get up.
Right.
You got to admit, they beat the living.
They did. Absolutely, they did. But I think because, and again, I'm not making excuses here. I'm just saying, just from what I remember, because it's been so long ago. Yeah, I think that they were so incensed that this guy, you know, obviously he was high on PCP or something, but he led them on a wild car chase.
Sure.
And he wouldn't stop, and so he basically led them on this wild car chase, and finally, when they finally caught up with him, I'm sure the adrenaline was running so hard. It's just like, you know, this guy caused us so much issue. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna dole some street justice out on this guy.
Yeah, they tuned him up. That's what they did. Dude, I've been tuned up by the cops, so I get it. And, you know, I've told the story before on the show.
Sure,
when the cops tuned me up, I sure as fuck deserved it.
Right.
You know, I have no animosity toward the cops that beat the shit out of me, because Lord knows they should have. They should have shot me.
Right.
But they didn't, thank God. But, you know, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't on the ground either, though. Wow. I don't know. Whatever. Back to the Obama point. Yeah, he's most mass shootings in his time. Now, that's not all black guys, obviously, but, you know, most shootings. Do you think he has the most murders? Not just in Chicago, but overall. I'd be curious.
I'm curious, too.
I would be curious if in his 8 years were the most murders under any president. Probably. So what else did he say he did well other than race relations?
Well, he was making comment about that story here in Chicago about those two black women, two black men who basically tortured that handicapped guy that, you know, here in Chicago this week.
I heard he's nominating them for the Nobel Prize.
And you know, they Facebooked it live.
Yeah, I saw that.
Where they were torturing this poor kid.
Nice. That's
good. And basically the question was asked that asked this exiting guy, you know, what his thoughts on were, and you know, he said it was terrible and, you know, it was just awful, but he says, regardless of that, I think race relations in general are better, you know, since I've been in office.
Yeah, okay.
That's what he said anyway, so.
Okay.
But anyway, getting back to where I'm leading the story.
Okay.
Let me see if this is racist or maybe not politically correct.
Okay. Those are my options?
Yes. Is
Okay.
it racist or just not politically correct?
All right, I'll play.
A dude ranch owner asked the chef to make black people food for tourists.
Okay.
Black people food.
Is that racist or politically correct?
Well, let's get into the story and you make a decision.
Okay.
Madeline Pickens wanted the African-American chef she recruited from the country club she owns in Southern California to cook black people food.
Oh, wait a minute. Adeline is not a black woman?
Madeline.
Oh, Madeline.
Madeline Pickens.
So she's an old white woman.
She's the former wife of Boone Pickens, the oil guy.
So she's an old white woman.
No, she's not all that old. She's probably, I'm going to say that she's probably in her 50s.
That's an old white woman.
Oh, come on. Old is like 70, 80.
Not in girls.
Okay, I'm just saying she's middle-aged.
In women, that's an old bag.
All right, well, she's a middle-aged white woman.
All right.
So she asked her black cook, her African-American cook, to prepare black people food,
Okay.
not white people food,
All right.
at her rural Nevada dude ranch and wild horse sanctuary, according to the federal lawsuit accusing her of racial discrimination.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Armand Appling says the wealthy philanthropist and ex-wife of Oklahoma energy tycoon Boone Pickens told him fried chicken, barbecue ribs, and cornbread would be the perfect for the tourists who pay nearly $2,000 a night to stay at the plush cottages, ride horses, and take Wild West safaris on ATVs at her Mustang Monument Wild Horse Eco Resort.
All right.
Okay. So basically she asked her cook to cook fried chicken, ribs, that kind of stuff.
All right.
But she referred to it as black people food.
Okay.
So any thoughts yet on this?
I'm going to go with politically incorrect because she's an old woman.
Okay.
She was raised in that time.
But is that racist to say that?
So what if it is?
No, is it racist to say it regardless?
I don't think so.
Well, and there's going to be a good point here later in the story.
All right. Here's where I don't understand the line.
Okay.
If you refer to anything as racial, should it how am I going to word this? Let me go back. If it's not put in a derogatory way, it should not be considered racist.
Okay. Do you think her request of this chef to make black people food is derogatory?
No, because I think she's actually saying, I want to serve as a positive thing food that black people like.
Okay.
And stereotypically, that would be this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's amazingly racist. You know, now, admittedly, if she said, I want some nigger food that Kunta likes.
Well, she didn't say that.
Well, but I know. That's why I say black people food. What'd she say? Black people food?
Yeah, black people food.
It's kind of borderline, but I don't think that she's. Here's the problem with all the racial fucking whining. You're not going to overcome 50 years of culture. You know, for everybody that complains, they're all 20-somethings that want to fucking bitch and moan about it. But people that were raised in the South in the 60s do not have the same sensibilities as people that were raised in wherever, New York City, over the last 20 years. You know, so So to automatically try to pick a fight with somebody old because they have old school values, that's childish to me.
Well, if I said to you, Chris, Hey, Chris, let's go to lunch. I know this great place that serves burritos, tacos, enchiladas, chips, and salsa.
All right, we're going to the Bell.
Okay.
Okay, but if you said Mexican food?
Is that wrong?
No. No, if I say, look, I'm going to go to a good Chinese place, that's not racist.
So why would it be considered borderline or even politically incorrect to say black people food as opposed to Mexican food or Italian food or Chinese food? Or
because the food that's eaten by black people has been castigated in the past as an insult. So I mean, watermelon will be watermelon fried chicken are the big two.
Okay.
You know as well as I do that the fucking street joke is fucking watermelon and fried chicken and.
But is there any truth to that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a black guy. I like fried chicken and watermelon. Maybe I got a little black in me, like Jeff Tate.
Sure.
I mean, maybe I don't know, but I mean, I don't think that there's ever been a fucking. Well, that's not true either. Now I'm thinking about it, because of course we've made fucking beaner jokes and burrito jokes about fucking Mexican people too.
Sure.
So I don't. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. So again, my stance is that it's kind of on the very minor side, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there has been more claim to specific foods against black people.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know why that would be insulting. Who gives a fuck? I mean, you like fried chicken, so what?
Yeah.
Why is that bad?
Sure.
Maybe there's something to it, like from the 1800s or something. Maybe they were just like slaves were only allowed to eat watermelon or something. I don't know. There's got to be some reason why it fucking offends. There's got to be a reason. And if we have any black people that are listening right now, that one guy, if that one guy is listening right now, I would love him to call in and tell me if there is history to that.
Sure.
Because I'm a fat guy and I eat pizza and I like pizza, and pizza's known to make fat people fat.
Right.
So is that, but I don't think I would get insulted if somebody said, hey, let's go get some pizza, fatso. I would just take it. I'd be like, cool. You buying?
Appling alleges he was fired in 2014 in retaliation for complaining about a hostile work environment. He says Pickens' stereotypical references were more commonplace at the Elko County Ranch, which stretches across 900 square miles on the edge of the Ruby Mountains, about 50 miles west of the Utah state line.
Okay.
Among other things, he says Pickens, who is white, instructed him to terminate two other black kitchen staffers, one she referred to as her bull or ox, and another who had too much personality.
Too much personality?
Yeah, I think flamboyant.
Oh, boy.
You know what I'm saying? Too much personality.
Yep. He was working at the Gap before he came to cook for her?
Could have been.
All right.
He was probably one of those swishy guys that I often see in West Hollywood.
Right.
He said she told him they don't look like people we have working at the country club and didn't fit the image of the staff she wanted at the ranch.
Okay.
Pickens' lawyer argues that even if the allegations are true, none of her comments were racially motivated. At worst, Pickens' remarks reflect a non-racial personality conflict and amount to discourtesy, rudeness, or lack of sensitivity.
Okay.
U.S. District Judge Miranda Du, D-U, said during a hearing in Reno last week that Appling's lawyers have failed so far to prove that sort of racial hostility needed to win such a civil rights claim. She dismissed the original lawsuit that was filed in February, but gave them until January 13th to refile an amended complaint seeking unspecified damages from Pickens' nonprofit Save America's Mustangs.
Yeah, there's no damage here.
Yeah. It takes a lot to prove these allegations, Dew told California attorney Willie Williams on Thursday. Dew agreed with Pickens' lawyer, Dora Lane of Reno, that the only comment that specifically referred to race was the reference to black people food.
Okay.
Lane said categorizing food by ethnicity is commonplace in the restaurant industry. Some restaurants serve Mexican food, others serve Chinese food, others serve Thai food, she said. The suggestion that such categorizations are inherently offensive is nonsense.
Yeah, I guess I see that. I mean, and let's be honest, if you want to really get honest about it, if somebody said, I want some black people food, you would have guessed everything that she wanted.
Probably.
I mean, she said what? Fried chicken, watermelon, and what?
And ribs.
Of course.
And cornbread.
Mix in some collard greens and you got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think you'd be a little racist and shit.
Maybe I am.
Just because you know that's what black people eat.
Because I used to watch Good Times. James!
Exactly. Williams said Pickens' comments about the fired employees not fitting in reinforces a long history of African Americans not being allowed into elite private club settings.
Oh, boy.
Pickens owns the exclusive Del Mar Country Club north of San Diego, where Appling worked before she hired him for a 5-month stint in Nevada. In many cases, the people fighting to keep African Americans out of these private clubs would use code phrases like, they do not fit the image, Williams said in a court document. He added the use of the words ox and bull implies ownership of property given America's long history of slavery where they were considered personal property of their owners.
That's a bit of a stretch there. Although ox and bull are definitely black terms in the porn world.
Sure.
In the porn world, that is absolutely a black dude with a large fucking dick.
Right.
Be a bull.
Exactly.
And an ox would be a dude that fucking bangs white chicks, I believe.
I don't know that answer.
I believe that to be true in the porn world.
Okay.
From what I've heard.
All right.
I don't watch porn, but from what I've been told.
Right. Lane argued it was a complimentary reference to physical strength and was not accompanied by any overtly racial slurs.
Yeah.
Indeed, Appling does not allege that he ever heard any overtly racial epithets such as the N-word, she wrote in the court documents.
Do we need to even mention that word?
Well, what he's saying is, I never heard that bandied about.
As you shouldn't. It's very upsetting.
Of course it is.
Words hurt.
Yes. But Williams told the judge last week that the comments must be viewed in the context of racial stereotypes.
Oh boy, she's reaching for money.
Exactly. Well, this lady, she's like a multi-billionaire.
No, she is, but the person suing.
Yeah, but they're saying, we need to dip from that bucket,
Right.
Dew agreed that Lane's arguments focused on plain meaning of words while seemingly ignoring the context of the comments made about African Americans in history and stereotypes that could give rise to racial animus.
See, here's the real deal, and I get the story. Here's the real deal, if you want to get real about race here for a second, and I'll just put it out there, and you tell me if you agree or you don't agree.
Is this Chris and Neeley keeping it real?
This is Chris anyway, keeping it real, because you might think that I'm just full of shit here. But I'll just say it the way I think it is, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
All right.
And I will start this statement by saying I am not making a blanket statement, but I am making let's say a 90% statement.
Okay.
Okay? So 95% of the people I believe this to be true with. People that are racist will be blatantly racist. People that are blatantly racist will absolutely nigger this and spade that and, kunta this and blah, blah, blah. They will do that. People that are not racist do not fucking think in racial terms. Ever. They just don't. People that are racist always think in racial terms. So all of these complaints that always keep coming up are literally the product of racist people, usually on the defensive, but overtly racist people. That is my statement.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I do agree.
When you're talking to a black dude, like when you're doing your job downtown, like you said, you're having to do some work downtown. I'm going to assume, given the nature of your work that I know and what you do and whatnot, you've had to deal with some black guys and some white guys and some Mexicans and some, whatever, Lithuanians or whatever, right? You've had to deal with a multitude of races.
Sure,
correct?
Absolutely.
When you've dealt with that multitude of races, have you at one time said, oh boy, I got to go speak to the nigger now?
Nope, never did.
Have you ever gone and said, oh my God, wonder what this beaner's going to try and screw me out of?
Nope.
Never had that happen.
No.
Never said, hey, look, here comes another faggot trying to buy one of my things.
No. You've
never had these things happen.
Never.
Why would that be?
Well, I don't think I'm a racist. I am as the real Eddie Trunk said, that I'm a behavioralist.
Right.
So I don't care what color your skin is or what your nationality is. Mm-hmm. If you act like a decent human being,
right,
I don't even look at you as being black or an Indian or a Mexican or whatever.
Right.
I assess you by the way that you conduct yourself.
Exactly.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Nope. That's it in a nutshell. But people on whatever side of the fence they are, people that if you say to somebody, hey, if you were having a picnic and you offered 20 people a piece of watermelon and then you offered the black guy a piece of watermelon, the guy that would say, hey, you're being racist offering that guy a piece of watermelon, that's the fucking racist.
You're right.
That is always the racist. Not you for offering a fucking piece of watermelon, because in your head, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, you're just offering it to everybody.
It's just a fucking piece of food. Eat it or don't.
Right.
It's no different than a fucking pear or a apple or whatever.
Right.
It's a fucking piece of fruit. So that's always my stance. These constant complaints about race and whatever are brought on by fucking people that are racist.
Sure, I agree.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, if the alleged comments were not directed at him, but others who look like him, it might affect his work environment, the judge said.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So the judge said, this is spaceless.
Yeah, get out of here, bitch.
Yeah, black people food is not racist.
No.
That's just mentioning a cultural or a nationality to a certain type of food.
I'll tell you what it is, though. It's damn good. Because I'll tell you what, you give me a good piece of fried chicken and not some fucking shitty KFC or something. I mean, like some homemade fried chicken.
Sure.
That's good eats, man.
I don't know if you ever ate at a Tony Roma's Ribs or not.
Oh, yeah. That's some good
I
ribs.
don't think they have any around here, but the ones I used to go to Tony Roma's, because they had one close to where I used to live at one point. Right. And they had some of the best ribs. But never once in my mind did I go, man, I'm going to go to Tony Roma's and have me some black people food. I went there because I enjoyed the ribs.
Yeah. Give me some of them ribs with a little bit of that rub on them. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking.
So it never occurred to me that this is black people food.
Never?
No. I just looked at that as just, kind of southern cooking.
You never went in there and said, "Yeah, give me a plate of those niglets"?
No.
Never?
Can't say that I have.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Just checking, because it is racist to think about black people food. These things just come up over and over again, and I can't figure out how.
Well, because somebody is always trying to push an agenda.
Yeah. But at what point, and maybe it's good that they don't, but at what point do these people, especially people with a lot of money, it seems like the people with a lot of money just are completely careless.
Well, no, I think that they're far removed from the average person.
You think they don't get news?
Well, no, I don't think they do. I don't think that they pay attention to. And the thing is that people with a lot of money, they've usually accumulated that money over decades of time.
Okay.
And at the time that they did pay attention to things, which was like 40 years ago.
Yeah. Because
since then, they've been involved with their charities and their, philanthropy and their country clubs and this and that. So they're kind of isolated.
Right.
Away from the average daily grind of, the common folk, I guess.
Right.
So what they considered okay back in the 70s is no longer okay in our environment now.
But it's still okay for them.
No, it's not okay for them. It's just that's where their social interaction.
It's okay to them.
Yes, because they didn't realize that things have changed.
Right, because they've grown away from the common folk.
Exactly.
All right, makes sense.
Because look at like a Paula Deen.
Yeah.
Okay, she got accused of racism, but the thing is that she's had a pretty good amount of success, and the thing is that the claims of her racism date back to the 70s.
Right.
And this Madeline Pickens. Mm-hmm. She became wealthy through her marriage to her oil tycoon husband.
Right.
So she's probably lived a very high life for probably decades.
Probably
away from the day in day out grind. So she doesn't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
How good a cocksucker do you think she is that Boone Pickens with all his money kept her?
Don't know the answer.
She's got to suck cock like nobody's business, don't you think?
I don't know.
Either that or allows for a wide open relationship. If you got that kind of money, how do you keep does she look good?
She's a blonde gal. She's a attractive, high-end looking, middle-aged gal.
All right. Yeah, she must suck some really good cock.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. But, to me, and again, this goes back to the older value system, for people who have accumulated a lot of wealth and they're in their 60s, 70s, maybe even their 80s.
Right.
They grew up in a time when, being married was a very traditional thing to do.
Right.
And, I'm in my early 50s. And if I've accumulated that kind of wealth, and even I don't have that kind of wealth now, but if I did, I certainly wouldn't be looking to take on a wife.
Yeah, no way.
It's just like, if you got that kind of money, why are you tying yourself down?
Right.
You could do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I never understand these movie star types.
Yeah.
They're always getting married.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get that.
I guess that's image, but, I don't get it. I don't get why any of them would get married. Why would you want to give up half your fucking money?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't get that in poor people either. I don't want to give up half of my fucking $400 in the bank, thank you.
Sure.
I want to keep it.
So I don't get it either, but to each their own. But, reading the story, assuming that what was reported is accurate.
Yeah.
I don't really see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't see anything really racist on this.
Because if you do make the comparison, like the defense attorney did with, well, you got Chinese food and Mexican food and Thai food and Italian food. Why is it wrong to say black people food?
The bottom line is this black person, whoever it was that filed this complaint, heard the word black out of a rich white chick's mouth and fucking said, I can make some money out of this. That's what happened. Nothing else. She wasn't offended. Stop it. She's been called worse than that driving home.
Sure.
I'm sure she has. So stop with your nonsense. You just saw a rich lady and thought you could get paid.
Right.
Stupid whore.
And that, unfortunately, is what it boils down to.
Yep, stupid whore.
I agree. All right, well, I'm going to play a tune or two, and we're going to come back, and we'll do some more of this stuff.
All right.
I'm going to play something that we haven't played in a while. I think we both kind of enjoyed this disc when it came out. I think it was like 2004.
Boy, old school.
Yeah. I'm talking about Mandy Lion and World War III.
Wow, old.
Yeah. This featured Jimmy Bain on bass.
Yeah.
He's no longer with us.
Yep.
It's almost been a year since he passed away because he passed away when I was at NAMM last year, and NAMM is coming up again, and I'm going to it this year.
What is that, Phil? Jesus.
She requires nutrients.
Ugh.
Okay.
Is that soul glow in her hair?
I think that's what that is. That's natural soul glow.
I guess. Yikes.
All right. Well, this is Mandy Lion and World War III, and this is from the Rise release, and this is the title track exclusively here
on your classic metal show.